The Wood County Bar Association wants to bring constitutional awareness to students across Wood County. Jefferson Elementary School had a special judge during their social studies fair today. John Williams, supervising attorney for Legal Aid of West Virginia, observed the projects and talked about a new initiative to bring constitutional education to the students of Wood County. The Scholar Exchange Program gives kids the ability to speak with a judge, lawyer, or constitutional scholar from around the country in a 45-minute session. Williams said there are many topics that can be covered, including amending the Constitution, the Electoral College, or the Bill of Rights, and more.
And it will be entirely virtual based. However, something that we're trying to do throughout the Wood County area is to put an in-person local attorney into our local schools to provide that in-person connection with our legal representatives.
Jefferson Elementary will be participating in a scholar exchange session later this semester. The Wood County Bar Association is currently in discussion with the Board of Education to partner with more schools in Wood County.